Hello, this is Sunshine Stamper, and today I am making a process video for my card for episode 292 for Craft Roulette. We're going to talk about this week's parameters. I'm going to talk about how I plan on meeting those parameters, and then I'm going to show you how I make my card. So to start out, the 4 parameters for this week are project, encouragement card, colors, sophisticated, element, house pet, and the random is thread or twine. So for the encouragement card part, that is actually one of my favorite types of cards to make. I like positive, uplifting sentiments, so that's going to be easy. I have 2 different sizes of sentiment here, depending on how our card turns out. I have a small You're Pawsome, and I have a big You Are Pawsome. So probably use one of those 2. It's all going to depend on how things look once we get to that point. For the sophisticated colors, we're going to do gray, black, and white. I think that's, a pretty sophisticated mix of colors, kind of classy. The element, house pet. I am a cat lady, so I have this older stamp set from Close to My Heart that I'm going to be using. I just love the little cats on this one. They're so cute, and I actually had some stuff left over from the last time I used that set. When I have extra stuff, I tend to put it in the envelope with the stamps, so the next time I use that stamp set, I have stuff ready to go if I need it. So we won't have to color today. For the random, thread or twine, got some choices here. Again, once we get to that point in the card making, we'll figure out which one we're going to use. So let's get started. All right, so my base layer, my background, we're going to have our card base. Look, that has cat fur on it. Does that meet one of the parameters, cat fur? We're going to put the black right on there. And then for my focal element layer, I have that chopped down. I think I took a 1/4 inch off of each layer to make a nice little frame. And to set this layer apart, I plan on doing some background stamping, and we are going to do this kind of the old school way. I'm not going to use my stamp positioner. We are going to use an acrylic block, my stamp, and then some ink. And I'm actually going to bring a little stamp chamois nearby. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to just kind of randomly stamp him around this sheet. We're going to do it in a random but organized pattern so it doesn't look too wonky. And then we're going to do this in a light color, and then a darker color over him will be our sentiment and our little focal point. So I'm thinking we put him there, we have this little guy stamped in a lighter gray around him, and then probably at the bottom of the card we'll have our twine, and then our sentiment probably right here for the sentiment. We'll see how that works. All right, so let's get started. So let's move this aside. Let's move our little kitty cat off. I'm going to start with my lightest gray in this color family from Altenew. And then years ago, somebody told me when you're trying to make a random pattern, you want to do triangles and you want to alter or change the direction of your stamp. So we're going to try this. We're going to start this little guy down here off the corner. And then we're going to flip him around up here. And then we're going to flip him again. Nice and stamped. We'll flip him over here like that. And that's our first triangle. Then we're going to flip him again. We'll put him sideways now. Like that. There we go. And we'll put him feet first down here. There we go. All right, and then we're going to just build up through the card like that. Let's see, we'll put him this way up here. So again, we're kind of keeping those triangles, but it still looks a little random, but it doesn't look like weird. And then let's put his head off here. We'll put the head down here. Oh, that's so cute how he's just looking in the corner. I love that one. And then we'll put him, you know what, we'll do him right side up over here. We'll do him side like this over here. And then we'll do his feet off of here. So just like that, we have our nice random little background there. And that's a lighter color, so we should be able to work right over that. So we're going to set aside the stamp, move this stuff over. I don't need the foam anymore. let's tape this down real quick. So this is my very bottom layer, my black layer. And yes, I am a bit of an over adheser. I don't know. I just start with the glue or the tape, and I don't want to stop until like it's never going to move again, you know? I think I enjoy just the process of putting the tape on the page. Okay, so if we put him here, and we got this guy here, we could do our string there, or we could do, we've got, you know, light string. Let's figure out our, I think that's going to look good as our sentiment. So let's just pull that off real quick. So if we put your possum here, we could do our little string right above him, and that kind of divides our card up a little visually. Can't put the string up there. We could go this way with the string and put him there. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll, it's been a while since I've done one where I put the string like that. So let's plan this out a little. If we do that there, I think we could still kind of center the You Are Pawsome here. Let's do that. And honestly, to stamp that, I know I said I was going to stamp old school, but you know what? Never mind the ruckus. We are going to use the stamp wheel because I think we're going to actually heat emboss that to make sure it stands out really well against that gray. So I'm going to put this in the itty bitty little stamp wheel. This is the baby stamp wheel, the original. And line them up like this. Again, I want to see where my kitty cat is. He's going to be like right about there. And then we're going to take our sentiment. We could do sentiment right about here. I'm not, you know, going too crazy about making sure everything's even. I don't think people really notice that much. So let's do it like that. I'm going to pick up my stamp here. And then because I do want to do some heat embossing, I'm going to, sticky, sticky. That'll be fun. We're going to take, this is just a little bit of powder to make sure trying to do that on screen, but I don't want to get all that powder on my stamp wheel. I'll put this back where we had it. My mat is a little dirty. I use my stamp wheel a lot. I haven't cleaned my mat in a while. And the new stamp is very sticky. That's why I picked up my paper off the sticky mat. Okay, so we're going to use some VersaFine Clear Nocturne. This is my favorite color for heat embossing in black. It always comes out so beautiful. Let's do layer 1. And I did not condition this stamp at all. You know, I didn't run any erasers over it. You saw me take it out of the package brand new. This is a Concord 9th stamp, and their stuff usually works pretty darn well. All right, there we go. Look at that. That's nice and dark. We'd probably be okay not heat embossing it, but let's live a little. Let's be a little crazy here. This is my very elegant, sophisticated setup for heat embossing, a coffee filter, a little Tupperware tin of white powder that I got off of Amazon. White embossing powder, just to clarify. Completely legal. Tap it down there. And what I'll do is when I'm done embossing, I just take the coffee filter and put it back in that little Tupperware container. Got my heat gun. I apologize. This might be a little loud for a couple seconds, but we got to melt this. So I don't know if you can hear me over the heat gun, but I am letting it heat up for a couple seconds here. Embossing magic. Melt the powder. All right, we are heat embossed. Again, I apologize if that was loud. I have no idea how loud that came out in the camera, but whatever. It's going to be cute. So now our big decision, do we use the white string? I feel like we've got quite a few black elements already. And I have this brown string. You know what? This is already cut. It's good length. Let's just do this. Let's just, tie this little guy. Probably going to wish I had a longer string to do a nicer bow, but I know how exciting watching somebody attempt to tie a tiny bow with big fingers on camera. Groundbreaking video here. Alright, that's good enough. I think that's cute enough. I'm going to trim that off a little. If I could find my scissors. Trim that off just a little. And then we're going to tape this down. And believe it or not, we are almost done. This was a really fast card to make because I already had my image stamped and colored. So that really cut down on the construction time. I'm very generous with my tape runner again. Partially because I have that string on there, partially because I think I like the sound it makes. So once I start like tape running something, I don't want to stop. It's a little addicting. Alright, try and get that. Now, if you want to make sure you get your card base even, it's best to look top down. I am like the anti-standing club, so I just wing it. Yes, I'm too lazy to stand up. There, I said it. It's said. It's done. Okay, so now we got our little cat, and we could pop him up. Maybe we should pop him up. Let's see. Do I have anything close by that I could pop him up with? I do. I have these old. These are old. Look, they have cat fur on them too. Some extra kitty glitter. I've been trying to use up some of my older squares and such, so I have an excuse to buy new ones. And we're just going to put that one there. Give his little head some support. Again, I am an over-adheser, so I'm using a ridiculous amount of these squares. Definitely don't need to use that many. It's just the way I roll. And then I'm going to cut some for his little tail, because we don't want his little tail flopping down. We want his tail, ready for action. And check the placement. Oh, he is so cute. You are pawsome. I kind of wish I had done these closer together because, it looks like there's a little bit of white space around him, but honestly, it almost looks like we've got a cat circle, like he's doing a ritual or something. Pull this backing off. So originally when I stamped these little guys, I used Memento ink for that because it does not bleed when you use the alcohol markers. And then I believe I colored these with Copic markers way back in the day. So there we go. And there is our card. You are pawsome. Not sure if the camera is picking up our background very well, but I'll post a photo. You are pawsome, and we are done. Thank you for watching.